Welcome guys, in this video we will learn about two new places on our place value chart. Now these two places are different than all the other places we already know from the third grade because these places are less than the ones place. So on a place value chart, these are located to the right of the ones place. So let's go ahead and write our ones place here. And we separate these places by a decimal point. And these two places are called the tenths place and the hundredths place. Now, if you notice, they sound a lot like the tens and the hundredths place, which are over here, but they're different because these are tenths and hundredths. And if you notice, the endings are different. So like I said, these places are going to be less than the ones place because as we know, when we go left on our place value chart, our values increase, and as we go to the right, our numbers or our values will be decreasing. So let's go ahead and talk about the value of these places. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the tenths place first. So the tenths place is right next to the ones place, separated by the decimal. So these are ones and these are tenths. So we're going to talk about the value of just 1/10. I recommend putting a 0 here to separate, not separate, but just to make the decimal a little more visible because we don't have any whole numbers. So I just like putting the 0 there just to make the decimal stand out more. So this is a tenths place here. So what is the value of the tenths place? Well, if you remember, we said that this is going to be less than the ones place. So what is actually smaller than a 1? Well, we're going to have to get into fractions. So the value of our tenths place is actually a fraction of 1/10 or 1/10. So that means that you need 10 tenths to make one whole. And depending on your digit here, the fraction changes. So for example, you have 2/10, the fraction would be 2/10, a 3, 3/10, 4, 4/10, 5, 5/10, and so on. And we will need 10 tenths to make one whole. So the value of the tenths place is a fraction of 1/10. So let's go ahead and move on to the hundredths place. This one's a lot longer to spell. So give me a couple more seconds and I'm done. Okay, sweet. So the hundredths place on the number line, on the place value chart will be right here. So hundredths. Again, we're going to be looking at only 1/100th, so we're going to put the 1 here. And instead of leaving these blanks, guys, let's go ahead and add those zeros just as placeholders because that'll make it easier for us to see the hundredths place. So again, remember how I said that the further to the right we go, the smaller the value in the place? Well, the hundredths place is smaller than the tenths place. So it's going to be a fraction smaller than 1/10. And the value of the hundredths place is a fraction of 1/100th. So this is a very small value here. And again, the fraction will change depending on the digit in that place. So a 2 here would be 200ths, a 3 here would be 300ths, a 4, 400ths. So that means that we need 100 hundredths to make one whole. So let's go ahead and review these two new places that we learned today. They are called the tenths place, and the value of that is 1/10, and the hundredths place, and the value of that is 1/100th. So as we continue learning about these new place values, just remember that these two places are less than 1, and they are fractions, 1/10 and 1/100th. So hopefully guys, you learned the value of the tenths and the hundredths place. But if you still have a question, feel free to rewatch this video or just come to my table and ask me a question. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.